Well, I'm not going to do both because that's not the point of the videos, but I will make sure I at least address maybe some of the things that might get people stopped on these. I'll go through the process with this one, and then I'll kind of make sure you can get started on that one. So, graphing form. We need to complete the square, okay? Completing the square means we're going to get this form is what we're searching for. A times x minus h squared plus k. We're looking for h and k, and that'll be my vertex. Okay. To do that in both of these cases, you're going to need to take a little something out of the coefficient of x squared. Now, yes, in this case here specifically, I can take out a negative 2x, but I choose not to. And the reason why is because I want to keep the x squared intact. So I'm only going to take out the negative 2. Take out that negative 2. And I'm left with an x squared. I took out a negative, so that's going to become a minus, and that's an 8x. Okay, now there's nothing out here. Over here, you're going to have that 10, or it's going to become a 1 that you're going to have to contend with. But there's nothing out here. What we are going to have to do then is do that b over 2 squared thing. That's the source of what goes inside here. So b is we're going to refer to the negative 8. Okay. If you're not careful, you get bad habits, you're going to try and make that your b, but the b has to happen after you've kind of got the x squared to be x squared only. So negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4, and you square that is 16. So I'm adding 16. We will always add because it just the previous thing that we did was squared it. So it's always going to be a plus, which means we're always going to turn around out here and subtract that same exact thing if we're putting it into graphing form. Now, if we're solving by completing the square, we can add it to both sides, but that's a different type of problem. We added 16 and subtracted 16, but careful, okay, because this 16 had other influences, and that other influence is this negative 2 that's being multiplied on the outside. So I added 16 times negative 2. I need to turn around then and subtract 16 times that same negative 2, okay? Now, that's the stuff. Now what we do is we kind of clean things up, and we have our completed equation. When I say clean things up, that's our coefficient out in front. It's a negative 2. This thing here, because of the nature of where that number came from, this is now a perfect square that can be factored and written in that way. Well, what does that factor to become? Two numbers that multiply together to get 16, add together to get negative 8, negative 4, and negative 4. So x minus 4, the shortcuts just divide that by 2, and that'll plop it up there if you remember that. And then outside here, just whatever, it's the opposite of this times whatever that is. So a negative 16 and negative 2 is a positive 32. So I'm going to add the 32 outside. And in my vertex now, h and k, change the sign, keep the sign, is 432. A lot of times we've set this up so that you can say, oh yeah, hey, it looks like I'm in the right zone here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, over 4 and up, 32. So you plot the point, and the grid was sort of set up to adhere to that. The nice thing is you got their negative 2. This thing is kind of cruising down. Nice little bonus here, plus 0. There's nothing outside there in terms of a constant. So that basically means you have your y-intercept that sort of shows up there. And the reason I kept this centered is because 4 more out here to 8, there's your other y-intercept because of the symmetry involved here. That's going to be a clean enough complete set there. What you're going to do over here, the first thing you're going to probably want to do is move the 10 over. Start by taking the 10 out, but only out of these two guys here. So you're going to have an x squared plus 2x. Keep that plus 10 out here, and then everything else should kind of happen the way we did it here. So you're going to add something, turn around, subtract it, times the 10. I'm going to let you have your fun with that.